everybody. It's Sunday night. It is May 9th. Happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. Wow, I can't believe it's May 9th already. This year is going by so fast, and let me know if you guys feel the same. But just want to say Happy Mother's Day to my mom and to my Grammy, and also Happy Mother's Day to the mothers who work here at the shop. So Gail, Teresa, Cindy, and Cheryl, Happy Mother's Day to you guys, and I hope you're having a beautiful day today, and let's get started. So our theme for tonight is obviously Mother's Day, and we're talking about good mommy and me crafts, or mother and me crafts, depending on the age of your child. So this is something that's really important to me because that's how I got into knitting and crocheting, was just watching my mom knit and crochet. Speak of the devil. Hi, Mom. So that's how I got into crafting, was just watching my mom, watching my gram knit, crochet, cross stitch, do all this stuff. That's what started my fascination with crafts. Hey, Nancy. So I just wanted to share that love with you guys, even though all of you are already amazing crafters. So here are just a few ideas of things that we think would be great crafts to do with your children, no matter how old they are. They could be 3, they could be my age. we're saying no more than that. So to start out with, we just wanted to talk a little bit about felting. Hi, Jody. So I am a very, very novice at needle felting. Did you see that Gloria said hi to you too, Melanie? Hi, Gloria. So I'm a very novice at felting. So Gail has been helping me out a little bit, and I've been watching some YouTube videos. And one of the easiest ways to get into felting is to do a cookie cutter felting project. So I've got my foam here, and we have heart-shaped cookie cutters for sale for your felting projects. They're even red. How adorable is that? But tonight I chose to do an angel for a couple of reasons. Mostly because Mom and Graham, they love angels, so I chose an angel. So what you want to do with the felting is, with the cookie cutters, you want to have it on the felt, and once you get into the felting process, it'll hold on the felt a little bit, or the foam, excuse me, a little bit easier. But for right now, what I want to do is, I've got some nice, soft, I want to say this is alpaca. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed it into my little cookie cutter. And you want just enough felt to fill the cookie cutter. You don't want it to spill over. So I looked at this ahead of time to make sure that I had the right amount. Hey, Laura. So I've got it so that it's just filling my cookie cutter on the foam. And what you want to do is you want to take a size 38 felting needle. I'm going to warn you ahead of time, these needles are incredibly sharp and they are barbed, so if you accidentally hit a finger, it's gonna hurt. So if you do this with children, I would strongly recommend some extreme adult supervision. And what you want to do is just, let's see if I can get this on camera, you want to do straight up and down motions with your needles, so just straight up and down. And the reason you want the foam is you need a surface for your needle to go into. If I were to do this just straight on the table, I'd be hitting that wooden surface. My needle wouldn't felt the wool, and it would also dent your needle or make it bend, and it would also damage your table, which would be a very, very bad thing. So just straight up and down motions. And the tip that I learned too is if you keep your needle inside the cookie cutter, and when you pull it up just barely over the surface of the felting material, you're less likely to slip and give yourself a finger piercing. So just straight up and down, and you only want to do this until the felt is about the thickness of your finger. You can over felt it, which I found out the hard way. If you just keep punching it and punching it and punching it, you're going to punch it right into the foam, and the foam's going to get stuck on your project. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I found that out the hard way the other day when I was making my cute little ice cream cone. So just straight up and down, and make sure that you're pushing the wool into all corners of the cookie cutter. That's why the heart is such a good way to do this, because you've only got the one corner that you get into. The angel might have been a little too ambitious for me, but there you go. So just straight up and down until the wool is more compacted. So like my little ice cream cone here, see, he's pretty thin. And this does take a while, so I'm not going to make you sit there and watch me needle felt an angel, as much fun as that is, and as much fun as I'm having, because this is a lot of fun.
Good stress relief.
It's a wonderful stress reliever, yeah. So again, just straight up and down until it's compacted to about the thickness of your fingers. So I've got my little ice cream cone here, and it will felt a little bit into the foam, so you have to be kind of careful when you're peeling it off. So with my little ice cream cone, you notice there's still kind of little pieces poking up that were on the foam. So what you want to do is take your same needle, put it on your foam, and instead of going up and down, which will felt it right back into the foam, you want to go in at like a 45-degree angle just to push the little bit of wool that's sticking up into your project. So once you've completed that, you've got your little foam thing. I love ice cream, so that's why I chose the ice cream cone. This guy can be sewed onto a jacket, onto a bag. I think with the ice cream cone, it would be kind of cool to go in and do like a waffle pattern on there, so it looks like a waffle cone. Maybe a little cherry on top. That would be a lot of fun. So this would be a great project to do with your children, no matter what age they are. I mean, I'm years old and I just learned how to do it, so it's a lot of fun. So we've got lots and lots of options to choose from for felting. If you want to stick with the kind of cookie cutter shape, we do have these hearts that are red, and they're so adorable. So these are $7.99 each. I'd say it's probably about 3 inches tall, 3 inches wide at its widest part. So those are cookie cutters. We've got both felting needle kits and individual needles for sale. So the individual needles are about $1 per needle, and again, you want to use the size 38 if you're doing the cookie cutter, which would be that guy right there. So they have, so this part right here is the needle part, then there's kind of a shaft there, and then the top is like a little handle for you to hang on to. So these guys are color coded because we've got a bunch in a jar for store usage. So this is yellow, tells me it's a size 38 needle. So we've got the individual needles for sale, and we've also got some sets, which I didn't bring over with me because we all know what a felting needle looks like now, so we know what the set looks like. We also have the Clover pen style felting tool. If you get into felting, I recommend this guy wholeheartedly. He will hold up to 3 needles, so you can do 1, 2, or 3 needles. The 1 needle is just for like doing what I did with the cookie cutter, or if you're doing a piece with a lot of different colors or detail to it, the 1 needle will do the detail work. The 2 and 3 needles are for if you're doing a project that has 1 solid color and it requires a lot of needle felting. If you have the 2 or 3 needles, it makes the project a little bit quicker, so you can get into that detail work, the fun part.
Those are also handy for kids.
Yes, thank you.
Gripping the needle.
Yeah, this is great, like Melanie said, for kids, because you've got the pen holder part of it, so your hand's further away from the needle. This is also good, like Melanie said, for gripping the needle a little bit better. So this guy is $14.95. And it is a super, super useful tool if you do get in, well, even if you're not a full-time needle felter, this is a good thing to have around. And you do want your foam to felt into, so we've got, I think this is 12 by 9 and 4 by 9 pieces. And Melanie, remind me of the prices. I think this is 5 and this is...
The small is $5.95 and the large is $9.95.
Okay, so the small is $5.95 and the large is $9.95. And again, you do need a surface to felt do your project into. You don't want to do this directly on a hard surface. You need something that the needle can poke into. So the foam is fantastic.
And the felting source is based in Fort Collins too, so it's a Longmont, or Colorado.
Felting source is based in Fort Collins, so it is a local company. We love our local companies here. So I've also brought over, if you're interested in kits, I brought over just a couple of the Wool Pets kits because if I were to show you all the ones we have in stock, we'd be here all night. We've got a lot to choose from, so I chose the ones that I like. So we've got the Sea Otter, and what's really cool about these kits too is on the top, they're labeled the skill level, so easy would be for your first time felters or people who just love the otter and want to make the otter. These do come with basically everything except the foam surface to work on. This comes with the felt, the needle, and instructions to make your little felted friend. So that is the Sea Otter, and he is $24.95. And this one I think is adorable. This is a sock monkey, and this guy does make 1 to 2 depending on the size of the sock monkey you make. And this guy is an intermediate, so someone with more felting experience would enjoy this. Also $24.95. And this is actually the one that I chose to put on the photo for the website for the Fiber at 5 category today because I thought this was so cute, and he's holding a heart. This is a sloth.
Oh.
And this does make 2 sloths. This is an easy level kit and also $24.95. And of course, everything I'm showing to you tonight is on the Fiber at 5 category in the shopping part of the website. So if you see something specific you like, it might be a little quicker to go to the Fiber at 5 category. And the last one I wanted to show was the hedgehog. He's so cute. So this one makes 2 to 4 hedgehogs. This is an easy level kit, and it's also $24.95. There's also an octopus, there's a dinosaur, there's a mermaid, there's a fairy, there's all sorts of things to choose from, and I think the mermaids are new. I don't remember those, so yay.
And really quick, we've had a lot of customers come and either buy that as a gift because it's all together.
Absolutely, yeah.
Or get it for like if they're going on a trip, they want to bring a project with them, you can find a substitute for the foam. Or
absolutely. Yeah, the like Melanie was saying, I'm not sure if you guys can hear her off the mic or not, so if I'm repeating something you've already heard, I apologize. Melanie said that they've had people come in and purchase these as gifts. I mean, they're already packaged in these cute little boxes. I wanted to say plastic boxes and it came out blocks. Sorry. She was also saying that people are buying these to take on trips because it is a very compacted project. You don't necessarily need the foam. I would assume a folded towel would probably work too.
That's a good idea. Bryce also told me a paper towel roll.
Paper towel roll, yeah. Yeah, that would work too. So another great gift idea, either for you to make for someone or to gift to someone that you know is a needle felter. So Wool Pets also has these cute little pin kits, and pin as in P-I-N is like a brooch type pin. So this guy basically also comes with everything but the surface to work on. And these are $15.95, and Wool Pets themselves do recommend ages 8 and up, so this would be good for children. Again, adult supervision because it is a sharp needle. So this is the Hummingbird Kit, and this is $15.95 if I forgot to mention that. Then there's also a flamingo and a peacock. So this is actually kind of funny because my mom loves hummingbirds, my Grammy loves flamingos, and I love peacocks. So all 3 of our bases are covered here.
They're your spirit animals.
Yeah, there are spirit animals. So also too, if you're interested in kits, we've got Going Gnome Kits. And again, I only grabbed a couple of them. We've got many, many more than this. So they do have animals. So we've got the baby penguins, and they also mark their projects with the skill level. So this is an intermediate. The penguins are $25.95. And this also comes with basically everything except the foam too. This does come with the needle and the wool. And then of course there's the classic gnome. This is a confident beginner. This one is also $25.95, and we've got girl gnomes and guy gnomes. And lastly, they do also have some larger projects, and I don't have the courage for this one just yet, but I think he's absolutely adorable. This is an advanced felting kit, but this is the baby brown bear.
I haven't seen that.
Isn't he adorable?
Oh my gosh.
So This I think would make a fantastic gift for a felter, or if you want to make it for someone. And look, it does come with the 3-pronged felting needle in there. Hi, can you tip the camera? Yeah, sorry, I know the writing's backwards. So this guy is advanced, and it's the baby brown bear. Yeah, when we flip the camera around, it makes everything backwards, so I do apologize. And if you want to just kind of freeform it, or if you have a project in mind that calls for a certain type of roving, we do have the Going Gnome wool packs. These are $10.95 each, and they come in a variety of colors. So this is the pink and purple pack. This is the yellow, orange, red pack. Let's see here. There we go. This is your neutral pack, and they call it flesh tone. So you've got everything from cream to a darker tone. And lastly, we've got the bright rainbow tonal pack. So we've got all the rainbow colors in there. So this is the Going Gnome wool pack, $10.95 each. And you can, I think there's also a green blue pack too that I neglected to grab. Sorry about that. So that is needle felting. And of course, if you have any questions at any time, feel free to ask us about felting. Bryce is kind of our, we call her our champion of felting. She's definitely our go-to person if you have questions about felting. And I don't think we have any felting classes scheduled yet, but keep watching the website because I'm sure they're coming. So speaking of classes, going on a rabbit trail here for a second. The late spring and summer classes are up on the website, so if you're interested in learning something new, we've got stuff up on there. We've got some rug hooking classes, we've got knit-alongs, crochet-alongs, and I think I want to say June 14th, but I could be wrong on the date. We are teaching, Cheryl will be teaching a Learn to Knit class. And I believe that is in person, not over Zoom, so be sure to check that out. So the next great mom and me craft that I have planned to show you, there was kind of a resurgence of arm knitting and finger crocheting, which is kind of cool because it gives people who might be a little nervous about learning knitting or crocheting a different way to kind of learn it. Once you learn the arm knitting or crocheting, it's easy to pick up a hook. It's easy to pick up a pair of needles. So I'm going to do a quick demo on arm knitting, and you want to use a super thick yarn for it. They would recommend a size 7 is what I have been seeing in the YouTube videos I've been watching. We've got size 6 yarn, so if you hold 2 of them together, that would make a nice chunky yarn. So I'm only going to cast on about a handful of stitches. So I'm going to do 1 foot, 2 foot of tail. So you're going to start out like you would just a normal knitting or crocheting project. You want to do your slip knot. So I've got the tail, if it were right in front of me, it would be off to my left, and the working yarn is off to my right. So I'm going to do crossover, then I'm going to pull the tail through to make my slip knot, and then you put that on your arm, and you want to pull it kind of snug, but not so snug that you can't move it. And then now you do a long tail cast on, and it's exactly how you would do it on your needles. You want to put your thumb and your pointer finger between the tail and the working yarn and grab it with your pinky and ring finger, and then pull it down and make what I call it a butterfly. It looks like a butterfly to me. So you're going to do your standard long tail cast on. So you pick up the one on your thumb, go over the second one on your thumb, pick up the one just on your pointer finger, make a loop, so you pull that through, stick that loop on your arm, and then again okay, this isn't working. There we go. So you're gonna snug it up just a little bit so it sits nice against your arm, and then you repeat that as many times as you want. I found a video where they made a blanket just by casting on 18 stitches, but she used a yarn that was about yay thick. So again, gripping my tail and my working yarn, bringing it down, pulling up the first loop around my thumb, going under that and pulling up the loop, first loop on my pointer finger, making a stitch, and then putting it on my arm or wrist, and then just snugging it up a little bit against my arm. So let's just do that a couple more times. So I'm just going to do 5 stitches. Now to actually do your knitting part, excuse me, you take your working yarn, grab it with the hand that the stitches are on, pull the first stitch over, and then put the new stitch on your opposite arm or hand. And then kind of snug that up. So again, you grip the yarn in the hand that the stitches are currently on, pull the first stitch over, slip the new stitch onto your other arm, and pull snug. So we just keep doing that until you finish up. And so I have done 1 row. So for the next row, you just do the opposite, you do the same thing just on the opposite hand. So for binding off, it's exactly the same thing as knitting. So I'm going to want to knit 1 stitch, put it on my opposite arm, and in this case you don't want to snug it up too tightly because you are binding off. So again, I'm going to knit the next stitch, put that on my wrist. Now here's where it's similar to regular old knitting. You take the first stitch and pull it over the newest stitch that you made. So again, working yarn, grab that, pull the old stitch over, put the new stitch on my opposite arm, and then pull the first stitch over the new stitch. So that is how you do arm knitting. I'm going to grab a drink real quick.
Cool. I've never seen that in action before, but I've heard so much about arm knitting.
It's super fun. You can get it done really, really quickly because obviously you're using a big yarn and gigantic knitting needles. So it's a great way to make a quick blanket, and once you've really mastered the skills, it makes a very, very attractive blanket. So I actually have a sample here to show you that Gail made. So this is made with the Rasta, and it is a gigantic cowl. This thing will keep you warm in those blizzards, trust me. So she used 3 skeins of Rasta for this, and then once you've bound off your project, where it kind of differs from regular knitting too is that this fabric is very forgiving, so you kind of tug at it and pull at it and it will even your stitches out. So that's a great thing about arm knitting too. And so this is a nice long giant cowl. You could probably wrap it around twice. And for those of us who have to shovel snow in blizzards, this is a wonderful project to have. There's really no pattern for this, so I can't send you to Ravelry, but it's only about 5 stitches wide, and then you just keep going until it's as long as you want, and you sew the ends together and make a cowl. Or you could leave the ends loose and turn it into a scarf. So that is made with the Rasta. The Rasta is a wonderful yarn for arm knitting. So this is classified as a super bulky, so it's about a size 6 yarn, just a tiny bit smaller than what I was using. And these guys are $25, and there are 90 yards in this, so if you do want to make a cowl about the same size as this guy, I would almost call it an infinity scarf instead of a cowl. You would need 3 of these to make that. If you were doing a blanket, I would probably go 5 or 6. Yes, I think this would make an awesome, awesome blanket. And I would assume if you can knit with your arms, you could probably do cables and color work too.
Ooh.
I would imagine.
If
we want to get fancy.
Because the Rasta is not superwash. So you could even felt that if you wanted to.
Yeah, in case you didn't hear Melanie again, this isn't a superwash yarn, so you could felt it in as well. So again, let's see, 100% merino wool. So for this gigantic cowl, you would need 3 of these. If you're, again, going for a blanket, I would probably go no fewer than 5 or 6. Another good yarn for that would also be the Berroco Coco. That rhymes. So these are also 100% merino wool, but this is a superwash product, so this can go in the washing machine. This is also a super bulky size 6, and thank you. So we've got just a regular knit cowl out of this so you can kind of see how it works up. So it's probably, I would say maybe 3 stitches to the inch on a normal knit project. Let's see here. These are $22 and these are 77 yards. So if you want to do the same cowl, you'd probably need 4 or 5 of these. If you want to do a full blanket, I would say probably 8 or 10 just to be safe. So that is the Berroco Coco. I'm going to giggle about that all night. I'm sorry. Lastly, we also have this bee wool by Universal Yarn. This guy, I love the color name. It's called Admiral. So this is $14.99. There are 94 yards here, so you'd still probably need about 3 to make the cowl. This is a 60% acrylic, 40% wool blend. So you've got the acrylic kind of giving the stability to the yarn, but you've got the softness of the wool. This obviously can go in the washing machine because it is a good chunk acrylic. It says tumble dry, but honestly, I never, ever, ever put a hand knit or hand crocheted project in the dryer. They always lay flat to dry. We've only got 3 of these left in stock, 2 blue, 1 green. So if you like the bee wool, better hop on it.
This isn't bee wool.
No, that is the macro. But thank you. So again, these would be great for your arm knitting. And so that's how the Coco knits up. And I'm going to grab another drink real quick. So once you figure out arm knitting, switching to needles is really easy, or vice versa. So it's just another way to achieve a look that you want. If you want something bigger and bulkier, this is a great way to go. It's also a great way to teach children how to knit because you're not having to hold the needles. It might even be a great way to teach adults to knit too because you're not having to hold anything. You're using what nature gave you. So along the same lines of arm knitting, we've got finger crocheting. And I pre-beaded my yarn so that you wouldn't have to stand here and watch me put beads on yarn.
I'm learning so much today, Christiana.
Oh, good. So finger crocheting, again, if you know how to regular crochet, this is easy peasy. If you don't know, this is a great way to learn. So to start your crocheting out, it's exactly the same as knitting. You want to do your slip knots. So I've got my tail in my right hand, and I know this will kind of flip it over a little bit. So again, I'm doing my slip knot, and I'm just putting that on my pointer finger. The size tail you want, I would say probably at least leave 6 inches because if you're making a necklace or a bracelet, you'll want this to tie your project shut. So I've got the yarn on my pointer finger, and what I do is I'm going to, and I know I do this differently than other people, so I apologize. I put the working yarn just on my fingertip and then pull the stitch off and put the new stitch on my finger and snug that up. So push the yarn through and pull it up on my finger. And you just do this for however long you want. And then when you want to introduce a bead, you just push it up against your work and then do the same process, push the yarn through the old stitch and put the new stitch on your finger. And then you just kind of snug that up and you leave the bead there. So I'm just going to keep pushing it through, pulling it tight. And again, you don't want to pull it too tightly. You want to be able to obviously move your digits around a little bit. And then push that through. And I think I'll do one more stitch and then I'll introduce another bead. And these beads glow in the dark. I love stuff that glows in the dark. So I'm just pushing that up against my finger, pulling the new yarn through, making a new stitch, and this will secure the beads into place. So for those of you who are not crocheters, this is basically your basic chain stitch. So this is how you would start your crocheted project. And this is great to do with kids. We actually, when we do Steam Fest, you know, pre-COVID, we would do these with kids, and it would actually lead to children wanting to pick up a hook and crochet. So that was an awesome, awesome experience. So for this, actually let me move on to something else and then we'll review some yarns that we can do this with. Hey Gail! Hey Christy! Thanks guys for joining us tonight, and I hope you're having a wonderful Mother's Day. So let's say you've done the finger crocheting and the arm knitting and you want to move on. You want to pick up a pair of needles, you want to pick up a crochet hook. So it's great for mothers and daughters or mothers and sons also to learn to knit and crochet together. So like I said earlier, that's how I learned to knit and crochet, was just I literally bugged my mom until she sat me down and taught me how to both knit and crochet. So I've actually been knitting since I was 4, crocheting since I was 3. So yeah, Mom said I was precocious. I think that was a very polite way of saying I was kind of a pain in her neck. So, if you want to move on to regular knitting and regular crocheting, we do have these Church Mouse Learn to Crochet and Learn to Knit companions. And what is wonderful about these books is, or actually they're more like booklets. They literally go through everything from choosing your yarn and how to wind your yarn from a hank to a ball, and which tools you need or what would work best for you. Obviously it differs from person to person. And then it starts you out with the very basics. So here they're showing you how to prep your yarn, how to make a hank into a ball. They do a center pole ball, which is pretty cool. And then here they start at the very, very beginning, like your slip knot, how to hold your hook and your yarn. And same thing with the knitting. I'm more familiar with the crochet one from the Learn to Crochet classes. So again, even in the knit one, they've got like the types of equipment you can use, straight needles, circulars, double points. They go over all the equipment, how to wind your yarn again, and then they teach you the long tail cast on. Oh, cool. They have the cable cast on in here too. That's awesome. So these guys are amazing, amazing resources. This is by Church Mouse. The knit one is $15.95 and so is the crochet one. How about that? So, oh, and here's something cool too. They, on the back of the crochet one, go over the symbols that are used in crochet charts. So when you're learning lace crochet, these are the symbols that they use to chart the lace pattern out. And these symbols are universal. So it's not something that's just designated to one designer or one company. These world round, these are the symbols that you use. So those again are the Church Mouse Learn to Crochet Companion and Learn to Knit Companion, and both are $15.95.
Christiana, Gloria was wondering, can you do more complicated things with finger crochet?
You can, yes. I've done a little bit of like singles and doubles. I tried to make a floor poof, but I was noticing that my gauge was a little bit wonky, so I need to practice a little bit more. But yeah, you can move on from the chaining and do the single and double crochets. So anything you can do with your standard needles or hook, you can do with your hands and your arms. Between you and me, I prefer my crochet hooks. So, but yes, you can do more complicated things. So if you're wanting to do either the finger crochet or learning to knit or learning to crochet together, I would recommend starting out with a worsted weight yarn. I like the worsted weight because it's not too thin, it's not too thick, it's just straight down the middle of the road. It is a good size yarn to learn on. And give me a shout out if you agree with me. That is actually, I think, the weight yarn that most of us have learned to knit or crochet on. So I've got a few yarns here to show you that are kind of, they're standard yarns. There are workhorse yarns, as we call them, and they're great yarns to use for beginning projects. So I would start out with the Ultra Wool. This is a Berroco product. It is a 100% superwash wool. There are 219 yards per skein in here. It is a worsted weight, so it is going to take about your size 8 or 9 knitting needle. And let's see if they've got a crochet hook. Yeah, an H or I crochet hook. So again, straight down the middle of the row, not too big, not too small. So I pulled 3 colors to show you guys tonight, and I'm sorry, I've only got the color numbers. I don't have the color names. So the theme here on the yarns that I chose are colors that I like, colors my mother would like, and then colors the two of us could agree on. So this would be the color that my mom would like. This is a nice rosy pink, and this is color number 3331. Oh, hey, Allie, happy Mother's Day. And my mom has gotten into warm colors lately, which is great. She looks great in warm colors, so this rosy pink is Mom's color. This would be my color. This is 33157, and I think this is actually called lavender. So this is a nice heathery purple. And the color I think the two of us would agree on would be this lovely tealy green.
That's so funny.
So 3346 is this color number. I want to say this is Chervil, I want to say, but I could be wrong. So Ultra Wool is a great product, just the Gambit, it's a great product. You're not mean, Mom. I'm just saying that I don't like pink, but you do.
I think you need to collaborate and make a design with all 3 of the colors.
Yeah, those colors actually do look nice together.
Cute. Yeah.
It would be a great Christmas stocking, sweater.
Or the choose your own adventure shawl.
Oh yeah, the choose your own adventure shawl. Yeah, we could totally use worsted instead of a sport weight for that. Yeah. So again, sorry, going on a bunny trail there. This is a great yarn to learn on, but it's a great yarn just for projects in general. So I'm not saying this is a total beginner yarn, but it's just a great all-around yarn to use. I don't know, Mom. I think we need to throw like a white in there too, because didn't it take 4 colors, blue, white, purple, and yellow?
You're on. Yep.
So I think we would need a white to balance out all the super bright colors. But I digress. Another great yarn that I highly, highly recommend for learning on is the Malabrigo Rios. If you're learning to crochet, I would highly recommend a lighter color. This cucumber is an amazing, yeah, off-white. Thanks, Mom. That would look good. This cucumber color would be an amazing color to learn to crochet on because you can see your stitches. And once you become a little more practiced, then you can move on to a darker color yarn like, and I know I'm going to say this wrong, so I'm sorry, Syra Grapes. That's S-Y-R-A-H Grapes. This, of course, is the Christiana yarn. It is a super, super deep purple. And what I love about Malabrigo is it's a tonal yarn. It's because of the kettle dyeing process, it's not a straight solid. And I like the kind of differentiations in color, even if it's just slight like this guy. It gives a lot of visual interest to your project. So this color made me think of Mom.
Love that color.
This is cyan, and it is an amazing, it's kind of a blue-green, but it's got just enough green to kind of make it a little off blue, if that makes any sense. And it is just an awesome, awesome color. This would also be a great color to learn to knit or crochet on because it's still leaning towards the lighter side, so you would still see the individual stitches on there. So these 3 colors, I think Mom and I would agree on all 3 of them. Because honestly, I love the purple, don't get me wrong, but I'm kind of in love with the pale green. It's really, really pretty.
Yeah. I'm seeing a choose your own adventure on that one too.
Yeah. I think we would need a warm color in there though, kind of, because these are all cold colors. So maybe that fuchsia color would look great.
Yes.
So another choose your own adventure shawl that we could do out of that. The last yarn I want to show you is Sesame. Sesame would be great, not necessarily as a beginner yarn, but as you get a little bit more advanced and a little more practice and used to how stitches fall. The reason I say that is because it does have this tweediness to it, but that tweediness creates such a fantastic finished product. I think too what makes this product so awesome is it does have a self-striping effect in it. So you're not only getting the tweediness, but you're getting the self-striping, which is fantastic if you don't like changing your yarn colors. This does it on its own. So this is just a simple crocheted scarf, and I think it really showcases all the different color changes in there. So I pulled over 3 colors of sesame. Again, sorry, I've got the color names but not the numbers. This is another Berroco product. This guy is color 7418, and this one I do know it's called Orchid because I've worked with it about 3 times. Oh, you know, I'm so sorry, Allie, I can't remember the name of the pattern. I want to say it's like Simple Chevron Scarf. One skein Chevron Scarf. So in this pattern, this actually took 2. One skein would only make a shorter scarf, so if you're okay with just something kind of tied against your neck that you can tie, I went ahead and used 2 skeins of the sesame to make it nice and long so I can loop it around. So that's a free pattern on Ravelry Alley. It's one skein Chevron Scarf. Whoa, the light was a little weird there. So this one is called Orchid, and this is what I used for the scarf. So it's got deep, rich blues and purples in it. This is 7413, and I believe that this one's actually called Cherry Blossom. And this has got kind of a fuchsia-y, pinky purple color that goes into some super rich greens. And this one's actually really, really fun to work with too. It stripes really, really well. And then the last one is 7430, and sorry, off the top of my head, I cannot remember the color name for this guy. But this one is truly rainbow colored, so it goes from the reds to the purples, and you've got the yellows and greens and blues in there. This is a worsted weight yarn. It is 43% wool, 39% acrylic, 9% cotton, and 9% nylon. So it's got the natural fibers in it, but it also has that man-made fiber, which really gives it some structural integrity. So I've also woven with this yarn. It is fun to weave with. Just be careful because of the little tweeds in it. It does get a little bumpy, so you kind of have to take your time when you're stacking and warping and weaving. It was fun getting this through the reed.
Yeah, it has a really nice texture to it.
Yeah.
And what I've also noticed, it's got this sort of springy feel to it.
Yeah, this does have a little springiness to it, and that's because of those man-made fibers. It kind of bounces a little bit. So again, if you want to weave with this, just take your time, be slow. It's fun to crochet with. I've actually never knit with it. I'm going to have to knit with it, but I have crocheted and woven with it. So that is Sesame by Berroco. It's $18.25 per ball, and there are 230 yards per ball. The scarf that I did weave, it only took 1 of each color. So I got a really long scarf out of just 2 balls of yarn. So, yay. Last but not least, I have some fun items that are kind of our go-tos especially when we're working with children and families here at the shop. We've got some things that we like to demo and try and get people involved in learning. So first of all is our little tassel maker, and I feel really bad because I bought one the other day. I tried it out. I've had a tassel at home that I was going to bring in and show you all, and I left it on the kitchen table. But this is super, super fun. It is adjustable, so you can make the tassel short, or you can make it super, super long. So these little white knobs here, you twist them, and then you can pull the plastic pieces, and then you tighten them to tighten it back down. So you can make a tassel that's about that long. This is $14.50, and this is not just great for knitted and crocheted projects. You can make jewelry out of this. And I think this is fun. They actually put one on a knitted plant holder. Oh, so like the old macrame plant holders, it's got a tassel hanging off the bottom of it. Zipper pulls, this would be a great zipper pull too. So, and I like this here. They put beads on the cord and made a necklace out of it.
There's a cute Andrea Mallory pattern. I think it's like a triangular shawl, and she adds tassels to the corners.
Yeah.
That would be perfect.
I've also seen too, like where they make, I think they're called snoods, where you've got the hood and the scarf.
Nice.
And they put a point on the back and then hang a tassel off the back. So this would be great too for stocking caps, the really long caps that have either a pom-pom or a tassel hanging on the end of it. So again, this is $14.50 and it is the tassel maker. And of course, what Mom and Me craft would not be complete without a pom-pom. So we have demonstrated this before, so I'm not going to make you watch that again, unless you want to see it, of course. Pom-poms are fantastic, again, not just for finishing on your projects, but this is a great project to do with your kids, your grandkids, your nieces, your nephews. If you're a babysitter or a nanny, this is another good idea. So great way to introduce kids to yarn. Sorry, I'm tripping over my tongue a little here. But again, not just for your knitted and crochet projects, you can make wreaths out of these guys. You can put them on the toes of your slippers. I've seen people who have taken flip-flops, just cheapo flip-flops, and tied these to the strap and made absolutely adorable flip-flops out of these guys. Cute. So this guy also too, they show here, they've made plants out of, oops, glare there. I'm glad you love your pom-pom maker, Nancy. I do too. So these are super simple, super fun to do with kids. Again, adult supervision when you're actually cutting the yarn. So this is the gigantic one. This is $15. I've also got the middle-sized pom-pom makers. These are 10 and you get 2 in that pack. And here are the super teeny tiny ones. These are also $10 and you get 2 in the pack there. And then of course there's also, if you're really into pom-poms like some of us are, there is the complete set. It doesn't come with the absolutely gigantic one, but it's basically the 2 smaller sets put together. And this guy is $18.95. You get the 4 pom-pom makers, and they also put them on keychains. That's a cute idea too.
I like that.
When we were doing Steam Fest, again pre-COVID, we would have them, the kids tie them on little scrunchies too.
Oh,
So scrunchies, keychains, wreaths, garlands, scarves. This is a great way to finish any of your knitted or crocheted projects. So that was all I had for you guys tonight. I hope you're having a very lovely Mother's Day. Before we sign off, I just wanted to remind all of you out there, if you're going to be celebrating a belated Mother's Day with your mother, we do have gift certificates available for the yarn shop if you don't know specifically what your mother would like. We also have the gift registry, which that is available year-round. It's not just holidays or special occasions. If someone just makes out a registry and you pop in and say, hey, I just want to buy a random present for my mom because she's awesome, then we would keep that on file here at the shop so that you can go back and reference that. Again, all of our new classes are up online, and I did want to let you know about a super special event we have coming up. We are actually doing, with Crackpots here in downtown Longmont, a yarn bowl painting, and I'm really, really excited about that. It will be May 28th from 6 to 8 p.m. That is a Friday. This would be an excellent way to kick off your Memorial Day weekend. It is a $36 fee, but that $36 pays for your bowl, your supplies, and your studio fee, so it would be completely covered. And we will have staff from Crackpots on hand, so if you need a little help deciding how to paint your yarn bowl, they will be there to help you. Again, no painting skills required. This is just for fun, and we did this, gosh, I want to say about 7 years ago, and it was an absolute blast. So we're really looking forward to this. If you can't make it to this event, it is open to only 8 people due to COVID restrictions, but if you can't make it, Crackpots has a wonderful online selection of projects you can take home, paint at home, and then bring back and get fired. Their studio is open. They're open for walk-ins, and just amazing people over there. It is so much fun. Even if you can't make this yarn bowl painting, I recommend giving them a go because they're just so much fun. We were talking about them the other day, and the hardest part about going over there is just figuring out what you want to paint, choosing your project. So For the yarn bowl painting, don't worry, we've chosen the project for you, so we've taken care of the hard part. So that is all I have for you guys tonight. I hope you have a very lovely Mother's Day, and gosh, thanks moms everywhere. Not just my mom, but every mom. So thank you. And have a lovely rest of your Sunday, and we will see you next week when we're going to talk about shawls. Oh, before I sign off, oh my goodness, I should have written this down and I completely forgot. So May 30th, we are doing a Q&A from the audience for Fiber at 5. So if you have any questions, anything you want to see demonstrated, any questions about specific techniques, or just kind of a refresher on how to start your knit or crochet project, send us an email, send us a message, and we are keeping a list of what people would like to see, and we are going to be so excited to show it all off to you guys. So it was good to see you, Gloria, you know, virtually speaking, of course.
She stopped in today. So
oh, Gloria did stop in
person.
Well, I'm sorry I missed you, Gloria, but thank you for joining us tonight. So have a lovely remainder of your Mother's Day, and we will see you next week.